To finish just 6 credits of college composition takes the average student $4,000 and almost 300 hours of their life. Having taught English 101 and 102, most people could learn this information so much faster. So here are 5 ways to skip English comp, and at the end of the video, I'll show you how to skip your freshman year too. Thousands of colleges will give you automatic credit if you pass the College Composition CLEP exam. This test is only 50 questions long and has just 2 timed 35-minute essays. And based on research, 3/4 of people who attempt it actually pass it, which is really good, but if you want to pass it 99.9999% of the time, I will have a link in the description explaining how. The multiple choice section is easy to study for because it's mostly just a review of the last 2 years of high school English. And if you're worried that it's going to be a bunch of hyphens and semicolons and things like that, the actual grammar punctuation is less than 10% of the exam. You're more going to be tested on your writing skills, your analysis skills, your understanding of how an essay is structured, but still only at the most basic level. I think most people are going to find that this test is not really any more difficult than high school English, which I know for some of you causes panic because high school English was really tough, but I know you can do it. And the really cool thing is that you can use modernstates.org to study for this. They have an entire course created by experts that shows you just everything you need to know. And if you pass, they'll actually pay for your CLEP exam and even the site testing fee for you. This test can literally cost you $0. And unlike anything else on this list, most colleges accept this one exam for 6 full credits. Usually that's English 101 and English 102. But if you want a little bit more structure than CLEP offers, Study.com has 2 courses, English 104 and English 105, that a lot of colleges will accept for the same credits. Study.com is a self-paced course provider that sort of simulates taking a college course, except that you can do it at your own pace and go much, much faster. You pay $235 per month minus the discount down in the description, and that allows you to take 2 classes. These 2 courses average about 12 hours worth of lessons you have to take each, and those lessons are generally going to be little 9-minute chunks, which is really nice if you're very busy and don't have a lot of time to sit and focus on a large lecture. Each course has quizzes, about 3 papers to write, and a final exam. So it is like a condensed version of a college course, except instead of spending 300 hours, you're probably only going to spend 60 hours. Now, I will say that CLEP is going to be the most widely accepted form of alternative credit, but Study.com is probably going to be second, and that's because they proctor their final exams and actually grade the essays. Now, I will say that Study.com does proctor their final exams, which some people don't like, but it's actually kind of a good thing, and I'm going to explain more when we talk about the last item on this list. I do highly recommend Study.com, but as with everything on this list, make sure that your school accepts them before you sign up. Straighterline has about as good of a reputation as Study.com, but their interface is way easier to use. Study.com looks like it was designed in the 2000s, but Straighterline is very sleek, modern, and I think much easier to use. English Comp 1 on Straighterline is pretty straightforward. They've got 4 modules, 4 writing essays, and 4 smaller assignments, and no exams that you have to take, so that's a plus for a lot of people. English Comp 2 has 6 modules, 2 tiny assignments, and 6 writing assignments, which sounds a little bit scary at first, but they actually build on each other, so it's not as bad as it sounds. Unfortunately, this all comes with a cost, and that cost is literally just a higher cost. You have to pay a membership with Straighterline, and you have to pay per course. They often run some deals and bundles, but you're looking at a baseline cost of $257 for both of these. That is significantly more than Study.com, especially because they don't have a discount link down in the description, but they are pretty user-friendly, and there might be a couple of schools that accept them that don't accept Study.com. Some schools that don't accept CLEP or Study.com or Straighterline will actually have internal processes for giving people credit for information they already know. Here you can see this random example I found from the University of Nevada, Reno. Their Department of English actually has a credit by exam option for English 102. And what they really focus on here, it's maybe less of an exam and more of a portfolio process where students have to put together proof that they actually know how to write. It looks like they charge a small fee. They've got a portfolio guide for tips and examples of how to put things together. And then this particular one, they want to see 3 to 4 essays, preferably written for classes in the last 2 years, that represent your writing experiences and abilities. And then a cover letter that sort of explains and justifies why all of this works. And then a couple of other boilerplate things. These are usually a little harder than some of the other options on this list, but they're still a great way to pass a class without attending. Do note though that some schools will give you credit when you do a portfolio, and some will just waive the class, meaning you have to still take the same number of credits, but you can take it in a different subject. Finally, we have Sophia. They are a third-party course provider like Study.com or Straighterline, but they are much faster, much cheaper, and accepted at many fewer schools. Part of the reason for that is that they don't proctor their exams. Study.com and Straighterline both do that, meaning that a lot more schools are likely to trust them and bring those credits in. Sophia, unfortunately, is a little little bit more likely to be held at arm's length by your school. But if your school does accept Sophia, they're an awesome option, and it's because you can finish Sophia classes very fast. There are even some clients I've worked with who have knocked out a Sophia course in 4 hours. I've even got a video linked in the description where I earned a Sophia credit in just 30 minutes. At the same time, there are Sophia courses that are much harder and will take longer. And if we look at English Comp 1 and 2 specifically at Sophia, English Comp 1 has 5 essays, though one of them is really just a draft of another one. And English Comp 2 has 7 writing assignments, but they all build up to each other, and there's only really one that's a true research paper. And you can easily finish both of those Sophia courses in under a month, which is nice because Sophia only charges $99 per month. At the same time, keep in mind that very few colleges accept Sophia, slightly more accept Straighterline, more accept Study.com, and then 2,900 different colleges accept CLEP. It makes a lot of difference to the decision-making process whether your school actually accepts any of these options. But let's say they do. I think that CLEP is going to be your fastest, cheapest option. Sophia is very fast and very cheap, but I would say that where it really stands out is it's probably the most worry-free option. And Study.com and Straighterline are kind of in the middle because, yes, they are self-paced courses, but they also have proctored exams, and so they've got a pretty solid reputation. And if you want to hack more courses, which is what we call skipping courses on this channel, then check out this video for how to basically finish your entire freshman year in under a month. Thanks for watching, and happy hacking.